massive news that Mikey Moore signing that contract. Delighted. I mean, everyone should be absolutely delighted about that one. But something that you shouldn't be so delighted about is the next story that we're going to bring up, and that is regarding Yves Bissouma. And The Sun broke this last night, saying Yves Bissouma filmed himself inhaling laughing gas and uploaded it to his Snapchat. Possession of laughing gas with the intent to get high was made illegal last year. Bissouma has apologised for these actions, saying he used a severe lack of judgment in doing what he did. Tottenham have said they are looking into the event and it will be dealt with internally. Since then, Ali Gold has done an article about it. I guess we should go through the article and then give our own personal takes on it. So the article says that Tottenham boss Ange Postecoglou will be particularly disappointed with Yves Bissouma a year on from a chat between the two men that should have been career-shaping. This weekend, the 27-year-old posted a video of himself on social media while inhaling laughing gas from a balloon. Since 2023, the possession of nitrous oxide for recreational use has been a criminal offence in the UK and can result in a 2-year prison sentence. Spurs are looking into the events and an internal investigation, and Bissouma soon released a statement saying, "I want to apologise for these videos. Severe lack of judgment. I understand how serious this is and the health risks involved. I also want to take my responsibility as a footballer and a role model very seriously." In those few words, will rankle particularly with Postecoglou. In July last year, the Australian had an important chat with the midfielder about where he was at in his career, and he saw him as being a main man in the middle for his team and someone who could inspire young players around him at Tottenham. Bissouma took those words on board and could be heard encouraging the academy prospects around him in training sessions. The midfielder, who turns 28 this month, then went on to star under Spurs in the opening months of the season under Ange Postecoglou, confirmed that about the conversations. We'll just skip past this. This was just quotes from Ange earlier last season. So basically, the rest of the report is not really talking much about the nitrous oxide. It was just saying about how, just 24 hours after that conversation, Bissouma was being seen late coming to training. Ange Postecoglou wanted to put maybe Bissouma in that leadership camp, but obviously that didn't really amount to much. But what's your initial thoughts on the Bissouma laughing gas gate?
Obviously, it's a horrific look. I have to say, look, in my opinion, obviously it's now become a criminal offence to do the nitrous oxide. So obviously all players, especially in the position they're in, should be staying well clear of it. I know players have done it in the past. I don't think it's like a massive deal, the fact that he's done it. I don't think, there's players there's highly regarded players such as Kyle Walker have been caught doing it in the past. I don't think it's like, him doing Class A drugs or anything like that. I don't think it's comparable. But I think there's a couple points here. First of all, having had that conversation with Ange last year, and that, Ange giving him that responsibility of being one of the leaders in the group and wanting to inspire young players, doing these kind of things and setting that kind of example to young players could be really damaging, and it's really disappointing to see him doing that. And it kind of gives off the impression of where he sees his career, whether, we're in the, I don't know when this video was taken, but if it's reportedly this week, we're in the midst of a pre-season where, the season's coming around the corner. He should be getting ready for the season instead of, going out partying until all hours when, the season's just around the corner. I do understand that Premier League footballers are worked very, very hard, and, it's been a grueling pre-season out in Asia, and I don't mind players. I don't really care if players want to let their hair down and go out, whatever, if they have an opportunity to. But I think the big thing here is the fact that he went on live or he recorded it and then posted it online.
He recorded it and posted it, yeah.
I mean, what is he thinking? That to me is the biggest red flag. It's because to me it kind of tells me like he doesn't really care about his own image to the rest of the squad and the players and also the fans, and it kind of gives off the impression like he's happy to show off that, if you keep that on, behind closed doors and whatever, I'm not really bothered. But the fact that he thinks that it would be acceptable, to post a video like that, especially when the drugs be made illegal, and him late at night doing that kind of stuff. I think that goes. The problem is that does that go to show a bit of his mentality, and goes to show what he believes is acceptable. And if he believes that's acceptable, is that the kind of mentality we want around the club? That's big question marks. I'm not saying based on that one video, sell him and I'm giving up on him, but that is definitely a red flag, and that's definitely something to be a bit concerned about, because how can he think posting that video was, especially with the position he's in as one of the senior members in the squad. There's a lot of young players in the squad, who look up to him and who see him as someone to, follow, and he's got a bit of a role model in the squad, being one of the senior members, and it was a big money signing a couple of years ago. For him to think posting that video, was the correct course of action, speaks to his lack of judgment. And that really worries me, I think, for me.
I think it's a ridiculous thing to do, especially as how last season went, and how his Spurs career has gone since coming here. In my opinion, he's been here for 2 seasons now. And throughout those 2 seasons, in my opinion, it hasn't been a good signing. For 10 games at the start of last season, he was brilliant. Apart from that, the rest of the 2 seasons have been shocking. Maybe barring a few games here and there. He's come back. He needs to prove himself. I was saying at the back end of last season, I wouldn't mind seeing the back of him. I think that maybe we should sell him and bring in, a real monster 6. He started off pre-season pretty well the first couple of games, and we're thinking, all right, are we going to see that best Bissouma that we saw in the first 10 games come back again? On the eve of the Bayern Munich game at 2 a.m, I get a notification on my phone saying Yves Bissouma's gone live. And I mean, why are you going live on Instagram at 2 a.m, on the morning of a game, last pre-season game before the Premier League?
Why are you up at 2 a.m?
And then this comes out as well, how he's posting himself doing laughing gas on social media. I don't know if it was that night, because this one apparently was a video that was posted on Snapchat. It wasn't. The Instagram and the Snapchat thing are 2 separate instances.
So was this Snapchat thing something like he showed it to his friends and it got leaked, or was it public?
No, he posted it.
He posted publicly?
He posted it, then deleted it, apparently.
Right, publicly.
Yeah. So these are 2 separate occasions. He goes live on Instagram at 2 a.m. when we got a game later on that day, which I think is ridiculous in itself. And then this thing comes out about him posting him doing laughing gas on Snapchat, which everything just smacks to me of unprofessionalism from Yves Bissouma. And if he was playing consistently well, and he has been a mainstay in the team, but if the Spurs fans and me personally were completely happy with him, then I'll see it as a bit less of an issue. But seeing as he needs to get into the the good books and fans again, and he needs to get back to the top of his game, which he clearly isn't at the moment, I just think it's a terrible look. And I said at the back end of last season, I wouldn't mind seeing the back of him and bringing in a new number 6, and this just confirms it in my mind, to be honest.
Well, Spurs reportedly are willing to accept a good offer for Bissouma if one was to come. I don't know at this point if one is going to come. It looks like he is going to be it for next season. We know that when he is on his game and when he's in his best form, he can be a very, very big member of the squad, a very valuable member of the squad. We saw at times last season how good he can be, but the problem is, he's been in inconsistent form now for a while, and then, the problem is a lot of his inconsistent form has come from poor decision making on the pitch, and then you have poor decision making off the pitch now. So that then after when you see those things, you got to call it into question his decision making, and that becomes a big problem. As I say, he's apologised, which is fine. Obviously, it's a PR apology, whatever. He's got to make a statement and say how sorry he is. I doubt that it really bothers him that much that he's done that and he's been caught, but he's made that apology, and it's about putting that behind him. And if he can turn it around, start making better decisions on the pitch and being more consistent and being a better role model, then everyone can look past it. But if there's just mounting evidence about his mentality and his decision making, and this is part of it, so he's definitely got to turn this around. He's got a lot of responsibility now. I think if he continues in the way he's going, he'll be out the door.
Yeah, and Ange must be absolutely fuming at him. And I mean, why are you going live at 2 a.m. on the morning of a game when we got a game that day? Like, that just makes no sense whatsoever. Like, if you want to be up at 2 a.m. behind closed doors and chat with your friends, chat with them on FaceTime or something. Like, why are you going live at 2 a.m. the morning of a game? Like, laughing gas aside, like that's also ridiculous.
Yeah.
It just smacks of a bad mentality. That's what it smacks of, and he needs to turn this around, and he needs to turn this around really quick, because the reality is, yes, we know that he can be a really top player on his day, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, 100%. I completely stand by that statement. But the reality is, he's shown no sort of consistency since being at this football club. No sort whatsoever, apart from the first 10 games. That is the only block of games that he's played well in a row since being here, and he's been here for 2 years now.
And I just think, I think the main word probably is it smacks of immaturity. And at 28 years of age he is. When you're a professional footballer, you're getting paid a lot of money, and we want to do something special at this football club this season. We're trying to build this project. We can't have people treating the public image like that, and also you don't want those kind of players being looked up to by the young players, and young players thinking that behaviour is what we want at this football club. We want players who take this very seriously and also want to do everything they can to do something special at this football club. As I say, I'm not sitting here saying terminate his contract or anything like that just based off this one incident, but there's definitely mounting evidence, and he's got to sort it out. Otherwise, he won't be at this club for much longer, and I'm sure Ange won't tolerate that.
And you look at previous players who's done it, like Kyle Walker, for example, right? Whether you agree, I mean, obviously not many people are going to agree with the things that he's done off the pitch, but he had this laughing gas situation as well. But what you can say about Kyle Walker is probably one of, if not the best right back to play in the Premier League, in Premier League history. Whenever he's on the pitch, he holds himself to certain standards and completely 100% professional, and lives and dies by his football. You can't say the same about Bissouma, and that's the reality.
Well, look. I don't know Bissouma that well that I can say he doesn't take football that extremely seriously. I'm sure he does. I don't think get to the level that he's in if he doesn't. But when you look at these kind of incidences, it doesn't read well for him, for sure. And especially coming to the season, it's a massive PR disaster for him, especially how his form has been over the last few months or so. So he needs to shape up, and he needs to get his act together a bit, because this is really, really a terrible look for him. Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what happens. Does Ange take him out of the team completely against Leicester in this coming weekend? I don't know what he does. Bentancur emerged in that friendly against Bayern Munich at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Maybe Bentancur does take the number 6 going into the Leicester game.
Well, I wanted Bentancur in regardless, because I thought he was really good. But it'll be interesting to see if Ange puts him in from the start. He's sending a message saying look, it's water under the bridge, and we can move on from it. But we'll see.
Having said that, I don't believe that Ange didn't know about this before the Bayern game.
I don't know. I don't know when this came out. I don't know.
Well, the story came out last night, and it said it happened in the last... Well, I can't believe it happened after. It does make sense for it to happen before the Bayern game, and he started that Bayern game. So... I don't know. It's just a really annoying situation, something that we don't need on the eve of the season. Well, no pun intended there. But look, in my opinion, I'd be happy for us if a good offer comes in from now until the end of the transfer window. I'll be happy to sell him if we do have an adequate replacement lined up.
I think that's been our position since the start of the summer.
Yeah.
And I don't think that offer's coming, so I don't think he's leaving.
Yeah, that's the reality. But that's the situation on Yves Bissouma. Let us know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on that.